Tonight, NBC5 investigates 23 years of terror. Back in 2002, a suburban Chicago woman somehow survived a Palestinian mass shooting in Israel, then only to fight decades of legal battles against her foreign attackers that continued all the way to the U.S. Supreme Court today. Our investigative reporter Chuck Gowdy joins us tonight with the saga.
For Shayna Gould, 23 years of terror started at a bus stop in Israel during a torrential rainstorm. The college student from Skokie and more than 40 other people were hit by gunfire from a Palestinian terrorist armed with an automatic rifle. The confusion and carnage that day here on Jaffa Street included the young woman you see on this stretcher, who seemed to be dead on the scene after being shot in the chest at point-blank range. This doctor, a Palestinian working at an Israeli hospital, helped bring Shayna Gould back to life.
She arrived dead, without pulse, without blood pressure.
She recuperated in a record speed, and she will be a healthy, beautiful woman.
Defying all odds, just days later, she was sitting up, talking and smiling.
They really took me in and just loved me. It was great.
2 years after the attack, Ms. Gould and her family joined scores of other victims of terrorism, taking aim at the Palestinian Liberation Organization and the Palestinian Authority, suing the groups for damages in federal court New York. It would become a case without end, years of delays and challenges, and then in 2015, after a 7-week trial, a jury returning this verdict, awarding more than $655 million to the victims. The jury allocating $87 million of that to Shayna and her family. Here she is shortly after news of the verdict.
We had a long fight, and we actually won it.
But it wasn't to be. Less than a year later, an appeals court reversing that verdict, saying the district court lacked personal jurisdiction over the PLO and PA because they were foreign organizations and not in New York, where Shayna and the other victims filed their suit. Here are Shayna and her father, Ron, in 2018.
I feel like they really should just step away and let the judge and jury be the voice, because that's what their job is.
They should stay out of it. They should let the Supreme Court make the decision.
Then in 2019, Congress passed a Victims of Terrorism Act, essentially closing the loophole that had knocked down the original $655 million verdict, meaning that Shayna and the other plaintiffs could bring their case to the Supreme Court. This morning, more than 23 years after Shayna was attacked here in Jerusalem, the court finally heard the case.
Mr. Chief Justice, and may it please the court.
The question at hand, whether the 2019 Act of Congress really does allow foreign terrorists to be sued in the United States.
Congress determined that it is fair to deem the PLO and PA to have consented to personal jurisdiction in suits under the Anti-Terrorism Act.
If I may give one example that I think helps exemplify this. Nobody likes pirates, right? Certainly the United States can define piracy as an offense, but the United States does not try pirates in absentia.
The court expected to decide on the case later this summer.
If the court decides against us, so be it. We've done our due diligence. We've brought it all the way to the Supreme Court. If they decide against us, not in our favor, that's their decision, and I'm okay with that.
We'll see where the chips fall, but give us that opportunity, obviously.
Shayna and the Gould family are paying another price, silence. Part of their current arrangement with the Palestinian organizations is non-disclosure, preventing them from publicly discussing the 23 years of terror.